What is up, everybody? SlashPlays here. Today we're going to be taking a look at a deck that I think is going to perform very well this coming set. We've got a bit of aggro, and there's quite a bit of like mid-range decks at the moment that will be coming in set 21. So I wanted to take a look at specifically a yellow deck and revisit a deck that did well and won worlds. So let's jump into it. So here we are. We have Vegeta Trunks. So let's start with the leader. I think if we don't know it by now, I'll give it a bit of a mention. If you have 2 or more energy and you have a yellow Vegeta in your battle area and you place it under your leader, you can awaken, you just draw 1 and you add cards till 6, and of course when this card attacks, draw 1. The awakened side's more important, so when you're awakened you can play a Vegeta or a Trunks or a Bulma if you have it from your drop or hand and then play it. So you just pretty much always be able to recycle your 1-drops, so you can evolve with them and keep the draw going. And then of course you have its rest of its abilities here. You have when you activate an EX Evolve, you get to draw a card, so that's drawing 2 every turn. And then on top of that, place 1 card from under this card in its owner's drop. This card gets 10k and double strike. So you're essentially being able to remove the Vegeta from underneath your leader. So if you evolve 2, that's now 2 Vegetas under your leader. So you can do that ability twice per game. Can be very handy, but we're trying to focus more if you're versing things that are more aggressive, like turn 3 onwards. You don't want to be tapped out on your turn 3, so being able to just do the 1 is fine. If you're versing a long, slower paced deck, then 2 is always good to do. But let's jump into this. So we have plenty of counters here. That's the base of the deck. We've got 4 riposts. We've got our 2 Frieza Army reinforcements. We have the power of a Super Saiyan, 2 forbidden powers. Just going to help you stall, and you don't have to give up a card like Flying Nimbus does. We have 2 Release from Evil, and we can use it for free because we have Unisons in this build. And then we have Tyrannical Blow, 2 of them. It's just such a powerful card. You're just going to cut off their cards from being able to do anything for the turn. And we also have the 1 Vegito. And I only run 1 because I think 5 riposts, technically, is more than enough. You can always, of course, it's up to you. You can always change a little bit around, but this is what I've been working, and I find it works very, very well. And then we've also got our 1-drops. So we have the 3 Vegetas. We have 2 of the Goku Vegetas, and the reason why it's 3 and not 4 is because we got 2 of these boys. And we have the 4 Trunks. We have the 4 Vegetas for the Evolve, and this is just going to help you get rid of cards ignoring Barrier. So if they, on turn 3, they attack with a Fated Rivals and you counter them, then you just play this. You get to now draw 2 from your leader's ability and this card for being played. And then of course you're going to get rid of their cards ignoring Barrier, so that just easily deals with it for 1 energy. And then of course we've also got Trunks. This is just amazing card. It's poutine pretty much. When your opponent plays a card or a Unison, you can switch it to rest mode. And a great little technique here is, let's say turn 4 or something, if they've removed your Trunks or you want to play another one, you set up your Trunks. When they play something, you rest it using your Trunks ability. And then of course, because you rested a card, now you can play poutine. So then you've been able to do it again to them for the next turn. So we've also got 2 Vegetos. That's why we have the 2 Goku Vegeta cards. I find this is a good amount because in total, you're going to see this card. And when you have this, you just chuck it in your drop. You have it set up. That way, when you want to, you can just use your leader's ability to play a Vegeta. So you can also just choose this card. This card will get played. You'll draw 1. And then you can evolve this. Then you evolve on top. Because it's EX Evolve 2, that means you're going to draw 2 more cards. So it's a pretty good combination, but you want to keep it low because you don't want to overfill your space. And of course, we've got our 2 Ultimate Duos. The card is just freaking good. I mean, on play, you're going to choose their card in rest mode, negate its skills, and KO it. So that's very good. And then we have 2 Zarbons. Reason why, we're not running the Martian Vegeta in this build particularly, but we have 2 Zarbons just because if you want that extra damage, you can attack with your Trunks, and then the next turn you can use your Zarbon to be able to restand it. We have 1 boss monster for this deck. I was running 2, and I think 2 is good, but space is limited, and you don't want to go more than 53. I find that for this deck, 53 is the limit. But yeah, this is a very, very good card. You can use your Z leader as well to restand this card, and we'll get to that a bit later. But this is a 35k crit, and what you do is you pay 2. If you have 3 or more energy, and you choose a Trunks and a Vegeta in your battle area, place them under this card. And then when this card attacks, you can activate battle, place 2 cards from under this card in its owner's drop, draw 1, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, KO them, and this card gains a triple strike for the battle. So that's going to be very, very powerful to your opponent, because you can pop this out and then use a cooler counter, and then just win for game. Then we have got 3 of these for our super combos. The Krillins just helps you bottom deck cards as well. I mean, if there was a Paragus choice for this, like Green has, that would be much better, of course. And then we've got our newfound might, the Piccolo Gohan. This card is bonkers. You can obviously, when you play it, you're going to draw 1. You're going to also, when you attack with it, draw another card. It is a 30k super combo, so it's great for defense if you need to as well. As long as they have cards in rest mode, for each card that they have in rest mode, you reduce the energy cost of this card's combo cost in your hand by 1. And when it is also played or attacks, you can choose one of your opponent's unison cards or battle cards and switch it to rest mode. So I haven't really seen that ability pop off too much in the times that I've used it, but usually the draw 2 is just insane for the card. And then we've got our 4 unisons. This is such a good unison. You want to set this up around like turn 4. And this is a Empower 3 blocker. And if you have 4 more markers on this card when it's played, choose X amount of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, where the X is equal to the number of unison cards in their drop, and KO it. So you just, if you have a unison in your drop, you can choose one of their cards, ignoring barrier, and get rid of it. And then the +1 is draw 1, and the -3 is choose one of your leaders, and this card, it gets 5k, and this card will get triple attack for the turn. So this is very, very good. And then, of course, we've got our 2 Realm of Gods, Black Kamehamehas, that can help you draw if you use it defensively, and it's also a bit of damage. But a lot of the times, I end up just charging one as a Z energy, just to help you get your riposte sooner, because the sooner you set up your riposte, the better. And then we have our 1 Final Flash. This can just really save you if your opponent's attacking you for a game for like a triple strike. You can just pop this out, negate their abilities, and now they're just swinging with a single hit to you. So it just helps more defensively in that way. We have our Secret ID. Explains itself. You KO cards up to the energy cost of 6 or less, send it to their warps. We got our cooler counter. And then, of course, the Vegito. So the Z deck is, we don't really use the Z leader that much. I mean, if you want to go for a game, you can use it. Most cases, I don't really play it, because I will end up playing Ultimate Duo later in the game. And if you have this card on the field, if you wish to play this card, it is a Son Goku or a Vegeta leader. And sadly, this is just Trunks, so it doesn't work. You can't just play it. But if you do play it, it's a fantastic leader. On swinging, it's going to be a 20k crit leader, and it has the same abilities as previously, where you play your 1-drops from your drop or hand. And it's got another ability where you can pay 1 energy, you choose your boss monster here, and then you can restand it. And then you get to draw 1, I believe. Yeah, and draw 1. It's freaking good. And then we've got our 2 Gokus, the Evolved Defender. It's a fantastic card. It can really help stall your opponent, but it is energy heavy. Then we've got our Vegeta. This is more or less, if you're sitting at 5 and you're at that point, you're like, well, I might as well just normal awaken by self-awakening rather than doing your leader's ability to awaken by putting the Vegeta underneath. If you verse aggressive decks, this is just a great way to be able to secure that. And then we've also got the Son Gohan. This is just, if you're empty on damage, you can use it. It is actually kind of handy sometimes, because there are times where you're like, okay, well, I have a lot of energy active. I'm going to have great defense anyway. I don't want to tap myself out by wasting more of my evolves. Then you can use the Gohan. And the reason being is because your main focus each turn because you don't really have like a big card that, besides your Gohan that draws you one each turn, your main focus for drawing is going to be using your leader's ability to play your 1-drops and then evolving every turn, because that way you're drawing 2 cards every single turn consistently from it. And yeah, so we also have the Oolong. It's a cool card as well. You choose your opponent's battle card and then you take their power for the turn. Then we've got our Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. This is just good barrier removal as well for 3 energy, and you got yourself a 20k dual attack. Though it's very scary if someone counterplays this, then you've just tapped yourself out more than likely. And then for side deck, here are just other choices that you can use. And I will mention here as well, I have made 3 different versions of this deck. This is the mid to long range version. I've also created a no unison build, and I've also made a more aggressive version where you're playing more of your like 1-cost cards with double strike and dual attacks and whatnot. So if you're interested in any of them, I'll put them in the description down below so you can check them out and find whatever suits you best. But I thought I'd do that just to help some people out, to give them a better idea of what is a good structure list to start with. And this, I believe, will be a good structure list to start with. So this is more or less what I think it will be like. And I would have to say for turns 1, 2, and 3, I would say turn 1, you want to play your 1-drop, of course. You want to mulligan, get it to your hand. It doesn't matter if it's a Vegeta or a Trunks, because they're going to grab the other one out of the deck for you already. And then, of course, for a turn 2, you want to awaken. If you're versing something that's more like mid-range aggressive or just aggressive in general, you definitely want to just get your Vegeta straight away underneath your leader and awaken as soon as possible. And of course, you can then evolve your Trunks that's on your field once you've awakened, and then you get to draw 2. So you'll attack with your leader, you get to draw 1 from the leader itself, and then of course you're evolving once you've awakened and you draw 2. So you got 3 cards that turn. Then from the awaken itself, you're going to be at 6 or less lives. So if you were already at, say, 8 lives still, or 7 lives, you get to draw an additional card. So you're going to draw like 4, potentially 5 cards that turn. And then, of course, for turns 3, I would say, you know, play battle cards for damage, and then use your Vegeta evolve cards to help clear the field, and just try to keep their field as minimal as possible. And then on turns 4, I would say just focus on trying to stall your opponent. You can also play a second Trunks as well, or a Poutine, just help like have some good control on your field, just to slow down their pace of their damage to you. Because as we know, yellow can be kind of heavy with energy itself on play, especially if you're trying to do stuff during your turn as well. And then I would say for turns 5, 6 onwards, you're more or less just stalling. You're building up your field with great defenses. You can use your unison to swing for a triple attack and give your leader a plus 5k as well. You got your big boss monster you can play, and you can just play around with different things like that. You have your Gohan ultimate. Once you've seen that, there's a good chance you're going to win the game because of that. And yeah, I would say for some tips, I'll put them somewhere here so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, like I said, if you're interested in any different kind of build, if you want to play without a unison, I've also made that. And yeah, there is quite a few different ways you can build this deck, but I have found that this, for me, seems to be the most consistent, where I'm always got at least 11, 12 cards in hand consistently. I always have a reaction to someone's play. I always have counters when I need them, but I'm not overbearing with counters where I'm just flooding my hand with counters and I don't have enough evolves. So this is what I found to be the best consistency for it. So I hope you liked the video. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Helps me out a lot, and I appreciate all your guys' support. And thanks for watching. Peace. Links to the deck will be in the video description.